Given greater levels of international cooperation, how necessary is it for countries to engage in the arms trade? This is a 2020 GCA level question. With the ongoing Russian-Ukraine war and the Israel-Palestine conflict, it will be timely to give my 2 cents on this question. Because, honestly, even with greater levels of international cooperation, we still cannot stop the war, right? But let's not look only at the perspective of war, but rather how arms can influence situations on a less macro level. I would like to first take the stand that even with greater levels of international cooperation, it is still necessary for countries to engage in arms trade. We have seen countries like USA and China increasing in levels of international cooperation despite ideological differences. However, it is precisely the fact that there are ideological differences, and therefore countries should engage in arms trade so that countries with ideological differences will think twice about going to war with each other and create massive destruction for the world and have many innocent people. It would be natural for USA to trade arms with the NATO alliances and for China to trade arms with alliances. This is to beef up the balance of power through arms race between NATO alliance and China's alliance so that countries will think twice before going into a war. And theoretically, wars shouldn't even happen. This is similar to Cold War back in 1945 to 1991 between USA and USSR, where USA trade arms with NATO alliance and USSR trade arms with nations in the Warsaw Pact to make sure that there is a balance of power in their arms race, such that each country will actually think twice about going into war with one another, because the consequences would have been too drastic. With this, however, we cannot prevent a Russian-Ukraine war or Israeli-Palestinian conflicts from happening, but most countries will still think twice before going into a war. Secondly, given greater levels of international cooperation, it is essential for countries to engage in arms trades to prevent terrorism organizations from thriving. International cooperation entails working together to combat against a common enemy, terrorists. Armed forces around the world do not just carry out operations to defend against their own nations, but they engage in counter-terrorism. Singapore's SAR-21 rifle is touted as a formidable weapon, and it has been bought by countries like Botswana, Peru, Indonesia, and Thailand to better use to defend their nations against any external threats or terrorism-related activities. On the flip side, with greater levels of cooperation between countries, arms trade has garnered quite a number of concerns internationally and domestically. Israel, Palestine, Ukraine, and Russia have their